Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori and this is Africa 54. We begin in the Central African Republic where thousands have been forced to flee their homes as clashes escalate between former rebels and local militias. The latest violence began early Monday just south of the town of Boka. That is 290 kilometers north of the capital, Bangui. The landlocked nation slid into anarchy in March when mostly Muslim Seleka fighters seized the capital and ousted the president, Francois Bozize. Seleka leader and transitional president Michel Djotodia officially dissolved the loose coalition of rebel forces but has been unable to stem clashes with local self-defense militias known as anti-Balaka or anti-Machete. Now, on Tuesday, the Congressional Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa held a hearing on the crisis in the Central African Republic. Among those who testified was Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary Robert Jackson of the Bureau of African Affairs at the U.S. Department of State. Ambassador Jackson now joins us live from the State Department. Ambassador Jackson, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Now, in your testimony yesterday, you indicated that the U.S. is so concerned with the situation in the CAR, where up to 400,000 people now have been displaced. But what is it that the U.S. can do right now to help stem the situation there?
We're already doing several things. First of all, we're providing humanitarian assistance. In 2013, we have provided over $20 million to the various NGOs working inside the CAR. We've provided another $6 million to the surrounding countries to support the refugees who have fled the CAR. And just this morning I was at another meeting when we were talking about additional humanitarian assistance which will be announced in the next few weeks.
Now, Ambassador Jackson, you have indicated that the U.S. supports the mission, the international mission in the Central African Republic, MISCA, and sees it as the best method for the quick resolution of the situation in CAR. What is the progress with that mission?
At present, MISCA has about 2,500 troops on the ground. It will expand by over another 1,000 troops by mid-December. And the reason we believe that this is the best option for restoring security is because the planning process is well advanced. Countries have volunteered to put their forces in place over the next few weeks, and they will be receiving logistical and training and non-lethal support from the United States in the amount of about $40 million.
Now, the transitional leader, Michel Djotodia, has obviously defied any kind of calls from the U.S. and other nations to first stop including the rebels in the military of that country. What are consequences for this kind of defiance that is blatant?
Well, actually, there's been a new development which we're very pleased about. We participated in the International Contact Group meeting in Bangui on November 8th, and the Bangui Declaration called upon President Djotodia not to integrate an additional 5,000 Seleka into the armed forces and the police. Just yesterday, we heard that he has agreed to that request, and so we see this as a major step forward. However, I caution, in November, as you noted, in September, rather, as you noted, he had talked about the dissolution of Seleka. That has not happened, so his actions will speak much louder than the promises that he's made to date.
Do you see this as complicated because Seleka brought him to power and somehow he kind of has to give back?
Absolutely, but based on all of the reports that we've heard from Central African Republic, particularly from the displaced people and refugees, Seleka has been well rewarded, and that is a problem in establishing security in the country now.
Now, in terms of the elections that are planned for 2015, you yourself have indicated that the president, that transitional leader, doesn't seem to be eager to really hold those elections. Now, what will happen if he fails or it shows clearly that he's not intending to do that?
It's difficult to know what will happen more than a year from now. We have President Djotodia's commitment not to participate in the elections based on the interim constitution. We intend to hold him to that commitment. We will also be actively working with the United Nations and the rest of the international community to organize free and fair elections and to make certain that those elections result in a representative government for the CAR.
Yeah, very quickly, you actually served as ambassador in Cameroon, which is a neighboring country. How can you describe the situation in that region and how the CAR situation is impacting on all those countries?
The CAR situation has resulted in refugee flows into all of the neighboring countries. There have been armed incursions. Just this week, Cameroonian forces fought with Seleko or other armed elements from CAR and repulsed them. The security situation is going to affect the entire region, and that's why the entire region, working with the United States, France, the African Union, the European Union, and other partners, is so focused on getting MISCA, the peacekeeping force, in place and restoring security. That's the first step toward addressing the intercommunal violence that we've seen developing and to assuring that the people in need in the CAR, in need of food and other humanitarian assistance, receive it.
Ambassador Jackson, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
All right, that's Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary Robert Jackson of the Bureau of African Affairs at the U.S. State Department.